I'm a psycho-infant therapist, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about warning signs that are associated with suicide. Suicidal thoughts are more common than one might think. 1 in 4 adolescents have more than passing thoughts of suicide. So it's important that all parents know what to look for and be able to recognize warning signs. Cecilia is a 14-year-old Latina who did not feel connected to her family. She was also in constant conflict with her parents because they did not allow her to do things that other children could do. And she, as a result, felt very isolated and alone and like a burden. Cecilia also experienced a lot of losses in her life. She had lost a friend to suicide, and she was also forced to break up with her boyfriend because her parents felt he was too old for her. She began feeling hopeless, and she began withdrawing and losing interest in things that she used to be interested in. She historically had excelled academically in school, and now her grades were dropping dramatically. She began to feel like a failure, and she also felt like she just wanted to give up. And she started saying things like, I just don't want to be around anymore, and I want to go to sleep and not wake up. So I'd like to point out some of the warning signs in Cecilia's story. She felt like a burden. That's a common warning sign. She also felt isolated and alone, and she began to withdraw from things that she used to like. She had pretty significant changes in behavior, such as being very involved with school, doing very well academically, and now her grades were dropping drastically. Another thing that came up for Cecilia that is actually really common and in Latinas is this conflict between her traditional family cultures and the more dominant American cultures. Cecilia also experienced many losses, which are also a big warning sign. She experienced the loss of her boyfriend as well as the loss of her family and her friend that passed away from suicide. She also had statements of wanting to die. For example, she would say things like she just didn't want to be around anymore, and that she wanted to fall asleep and not wake up. Cecilia's story is one that stands out for me. I felt that she, at the end of our therapy process, was a much different person than she had started out. She was happier, she was vibrant, she smiled a lot. Other warning signs that maybe were not a part of Cecilia's stories, but that are also very important to know. Depression is a warning sign. Mental illness is a warning sign. Aggression and irritability are also important warning signs. Other warning signs would include past suicide attempts, drug and alcohol issues, and not belonging. Giving away prized possessions, taking risks, and having reckless behavior, as well as embarrassment and humiliation are common. Getting in trouble, whether that be legally, in school, or at home, is also a risk factor, as well as sometimes children will begin to have physical problems such as stomach aches and headaches because they are struggling emotionally. These signs can present differently in different children. The most important thing is for you to be aware of them and to act on them. If you're seeing any of these signs, please contact your school counselor or school social worker, possibly your doctor, and if you're feeling like it's an emergency, call 911. You can also access more resources on our website, swfmd.org.